probably already know that colostrum is the first step in starting calves off right. But what are the other factors that come into play? Welcome to Beyond Colostrum, the show where we'll talk about how to optimize your calves with science and research that goes beyond just colostrum. We'll challenge the ways you typically manage your calves, and you might learn some new concepts beyond what you're already used to. Thanks for joining us as we go beyond colostrum. Hey there, this is Mike Chubb, Managing Director at Saskatoon Colostrum. I'm here with two doctors, Dr. Travis White and Dr. Mike Nagorski, to talk with you all about beyond colostrum. And today we want to talk about enrichment. What the hell is that? Enrichment. Guys, come on. This sounds like something you do for my kids when they're little and the milk's not awesome, but what are we doing? Enriching what for whom?
Yeah, so the idea of enrichment is just like what you said, Michael. We're taking poor quality colostrum and we're able to add some colostrum powder into that to enrich the quality of that so that the calves are given a better, higher quality colostrum at birth and thus a better nutrition profile as they hit the ground and start their journey down life's road.
So you're saying adding powder to liquid cow colostrum from the farm?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what we're saying.
Okay.
Enriching
So how
with the
do you
powder.
do this, Mike? How does this work actually? I mean, are producers doing this now for you in the States?
Yeah, it's I think it's a new concept. I think one of the reasons that we as a company are in the colostrum replacer business is because cows are variable in their ability to produce quality, consistent colostrum with consistent antibody concentrations, right? And the one thing that we use on farm to try to manage that is a Brix refractometer. So starting out, in my mind, the biggest thing that there's one takeaway from this, it's every farm should have a Brix refractometer and be testing their colostrum to see what the quality is. The Brix refractometer is, it's been used in the wine industry and it's got fairly good correlation to the amount of antibodies. So typically, 22% Brix on an optical or digital refractometer. Throw out the colostrometers. The colostrometers are inaccurate. They're temperature sensitive and inaccurate. So we like those digital or optical refractometers. Can measure it, put a drop of colostrum on. That 22% Brix typically correlates to about 50 grams of IgG per liter of colostrum. So that's why we want to feed 10% of the body weight, which is usually on a 40 kilo dairy calf or, 80 to 90 pound dairy calf. That's 4 liters. That's where that all came from. So we can, typically we've said 22% Brix. So that equates to, again, 50 grams of IgG per liter. You feed 4 liters, that's 200 grams. Well, now new recommendations have come out stating that in order to achieve excellent passive transfer, at least 40% of the calf population in excellent passive transfer, we have to feed 300 grams of IgG. Therein, 22% Brix is actually probably not quite enough. So the way we can get to 300 is actually, a lot of people ask, well, should we be feeding instead of 22% Brix? There's dairy producers that'll feed 25 or 26% Brix IgG because they know that that's got more potency in it. Well, as a company, we've drilled into every bucket of colostrum we get in. We note that over a 20-year period, we've seen this happen. In the summer months, we see poor quality colostrum. We see antibody concentrations drop by upwards of 20% into the summer months. And then going into the fall, we'll see quantity start to suffer as well. So, you add those variables together on top of the fact that cows are on an individual basis, cow to cow, there's a lot of variability and their ability to produce quality colostrum. And that's going to differ also between farm and all that. So, you know, we want to produce consistent calves. We know colostrum is going to impact lifelong productivity. We invest a lot of money into genetics. And so it all starts with colostrum. So enrichment is a great opportunity for us to standardize the foundation for our calf's life, which is all about colostrum.
So you threw around a whole bunch of numbers there for a second, and 22% Brix and a bunch of liters of practically what has to happen here. Is every output of a heifer having her first calf or a multi-paris cow going to need enrichment? I mean, do you need to measure every animal, or is there a rule of thumb that we could come up with that would just simply say, you know, typically we should add some grams of powder to get everything to a higher level? You know, all boats are risen with a rising tide, right? Is that something we can look at?
Absolutely. So it really depends on the management scheme of the dairy. If a dairy has the ability to measure every cow and enrich every gallon of colostrum, that's ideal. If they have the ability to pool colostrum and Brix every batch, that's, you know, just as good as measuring every cow. In those operations that can't do that or don't have the labor force, an easy rule of thumb is just to add 350 grams of colostrum powder into every gallon. That's going to give us 50 grams of added IgG that's going to provide adequate or more protection for that calf. And so that's just an easy rule of thumb. We can put in one simple bag of colostrum with the supplement, or we can do bulk presentations in a 350 gram presentation.
All right. Okay. So it's to me, it's kind of like fertilizing my yard. Like, you got a pretty good soil, but it's kind of inconsistent. Over there, it's a little clay. Over here, it's a little bit too sandy. But if I add some nitrogen to it, all the vegetables are going to more likely produce sort of more consistently. Is that the same gig here?
Yep, same concept.
So most producers probably are already growing their own forage, so they probably can make this connection, fertilize the land, and that's enrich the colostrum, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So have you had any success getting this protocol or this process or this practice engaged in your producing clients yet?
Absolutely. We have thousands of gallons of colostrum that's being enriched every day in the US. Well, and around the world. This is a common practice throughout the world at this point. But so we have thousands of gallons that are being enriched, and we have, like I said, we have producers of all different levels that are doing it on a per gallon basis, on a batch basis, or like I said, simply adding 350 grams to every gallon. We have a dairy in Arizona that does the 350 gram level on every gallon of colostrum, having excellent results. Again, we have other farms that are doing batches, and again, seeing excellent calf health after enriching colostrum.
All right. So this is an application that sounds like it's applicable to everybody.
Every operation has the opportunity to enrich at some point. They're always going to run into times of the year where their colostrum quality is poor, or times of the year when they run short of colostrum. And so there's always an opportunity on every operation to improve their colostrum quality.
So we're talking like a bucket of colostrum, liquid colostrum we got from her. She just calved, and then we just add the powder straight in. All right.
Yep. No, we don't need to add any water to it to complicate the process. I mean, the biggest thing we've always been challenged with is if we could do this safely, and we've done this very safely on thousands and thousands of calves around the world up to this point. And so we can add powder straight in, and, you know, really there's a couple different ways that we can do that. So yeah, you know, it's kind of the way we frame this is, like I said, 22% typically correlates with about 50 grams of IgG. So again, because of new recommendations of feeding 300 grams of IgG to a calf population to achieve a good optimal passive transfer level, anything below 22 is fairly poor, So we can, in fact, if you get below 17, we'd recommend to just replace, use a colostrum, But once you get above there, there's opportunity. We have farms that are enriching up to 28 or 30% Brix and achieving very good results.
Yeah, as a bare minimum, we should probably be targeting 25 in Holsteins right now. And for Jerseys, just because of a lower volume that those calves can intake, we probably need to be Brixing up to a 28 or 30.
Okay. So even a 22 or a 20 Brix colostrum can be, let's say, enriched or doctored so that it is actually useful to the animal.
Yep.
So this is like my my neighbor offers me a beer. He drinks this really weak beer. It's like me dropping a shot of whiskey into the beer, isn't it? This is the same deal.
Same
Okay.
thing.
I understand it now completely.
Yep.
You got to put it in those Canadian terms.
Oh, totally. Hey, yeah. Okay, so we've got a target of 30 is excellent. I saw some other things in the here, Mike. What do you tell me about this? I guess.
Yeah, so we've got some different ways that we can work with a colostrum protocol on farm. So if you're the type of person that wants to be precise and target a certain Brix, you can use our app that we have on. You can download it on the App Store, SCCL Colostrum. Just type that in. You put the amount of volume in terms of liters. Quarts is about the same thing. Brix, you Brix it, and then you put in your Brix goal. It will calculate the grams of powder you need. Now, that's again if you want to be very precise, but we can also just make it much simpler and add a set amount either in a supplemental bag. A bag of a supplement is typically got 50 to 60 grams of IgG in it. Yeah. We have very good success with just adding that to 3 to 4 quarts or liters of colostrum. And we call that the rip and go method, right? We also have a table here that will, help a producer if they want to use a table to measure this out. But you gotta be measuring this out if you're going to do that. And so here, the rule of thumb is for every 1% increase in Brix, it's about 15 grams of powder that you would add.
So I just opened that app that you said, and I made up a story in my mind. I said I got 3 liters of fresh colostrum. I said it was 22 Brix, and it told me to add. I said my target is 30 because I always want the best, and it told me to add 360 grams powder. So it's that simple. I don't need this chart, do I?
No, you don't need the chart. The app is a very simple tool to use, available to everybody.
But you can also, like we say, the 350 grams, you could just add that set amount. And, that's typically a supplement, a colostrum supplement, and you could have that. We have many protocols where if a guy gets below 25 Brix, they're just simply adding 350 grams of powder or a colostrum supplement. There's colostrum supplements that are between, like I say, 50 to 60 grams of IgG. So that's what we're doing.
Okay, so it's real simple. To me, this is like fertilizing the yard or dropping whiskey in my beer. It just makes everything a little bit stronger, a little bit more effective, right? That's the deal. And the app is the way to figure out how much powder to add. And it's powder that we're talking about. We're not talking IGs. We're not talking grams of IgG. We're just talking grams of powder. I assume that's because the other stuff has value. The fat, the growth factors, the antimicrobials, etc.
Yep. The other thing to point out too is the app is in several different languages. So if you have Hispanic laborers or something like that, You can switch between different languages so that that can be utilized on farm.
Yeah, I don't see the Canadian app, eh? It just says American, but apparently I can read both. This is good.
It should say A at the top.
Yeah, colostrum enrichment, eh?
Hey,
Don't you know? No, I'm getting to Minnesota. Sorry there, guys. Well, I think, I think this enrichment proposition, I've been playing a silly man, playing dumb. I know about it well because our friends in Argentina and Mexico and Brazil, mostly because of economics, have been doing this for some time. Basically, the farmers there said, use your powder. Sorry, I have my own liquid. It's free. And by necessity of building the business, they explained through the Brix test that there was huge variability and that there was obvious opportunity to improve it, just like fertilizing your land. And now I know that our brothers in Argentina have their biggest dairies on enrichment, almost all of them. And they're seeing much more consistent calves, way reduced treatment costs and average daily gains that are much more consistent across the herd. So, it's a hypothetical discussion between three guys that know a lot about colostrum, but for those that are listening, this is really a simple approach to improve what Mother Nature has given you through that cow. And the opportunity to fix what you already have is, I think, the heart of the farmer mentality. My combine's broken, but I'm gonna fix it. My land needs a little help, so I'm gonna fertilize it. My colostrum ain't perfect, so I'm gonna get it better. So to me, this is applicable in all countries, in all bovine creatures, dairy or beef, and it pays respect to the cow as well. She give us something good, just need a little bit of help.
Yep. And I think one concern that we always get from veterinarians, nutritionists, even producers for that matter, is, so you're telling me we put this powder into the colostrum that therein would raise the solid levels. Isn't that going to be a problem for the calf? So we have a video we'd like to share here that will show you that even down to 2 liters, you can take 350 grams of powder and add this quite readily, and it mixes just fine. And so we'd like to share that here now.
Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of mixing demo here with enrichment. We're going to enrich poor quality colostrum here. We got 3 buckets, 4 liters, 3 liters, and 2 liters of colostrum that is 16.5 Brix. And we're going to add 350 grams of CCT to each of these and just see how it mixes up and how thick it becomes. Temperature of all these colostrum is 36 C. Okay, that's the 350 grams of powder into 4 liters of maternal colostrum. It mixes quite easily, and it's quite fluid, easy to tube or bottle feed. Okay, next is the 3 liters of maternal plus 350 grams of powder. Again, very liquid, easy to tube, bottle feed. Next is the 350 grams in 2 liters of maternal. You can see that mixes up quite easily, completely, and it's quite liquid. Easily feed that nipple bottle or tube. Just check the percent Brix on these now. Just using a digital refractometer. So in the 4 liters of maternal, started out at 16.5 Brix. We're at 22.3 Brix now. The 3 liters plus 350 grams, Brix is 25%. The 2 liters plus 350 grams, Brix is 29%. We find if you keep below, say, 31 or so Brix, that it's pretty easy to feed. Just keep it in mind that if this cools off too much, it will thicken. So you want to be up in that, 32 to 35 degree range, something like that, no hotter than 40.
Thank you for watching today's show. If you have questions about something you heard today, or maybe you have a topic you'd like us to address, leave us a message on Facebook. We'll talk again on Beyond Colostrum.